Finally the day come around. The I quick when me a look for me get it by the phone.
Oh yes, man. It's that kind of morning, isn't it? Welcome back to the wake up call. It's a wake up call. It's called the wake up call for a reason because it should be a wake up call for people. You understand? So the things that we talk about, sometimes they're going to be unpopular. Sometimes you maybe the first time you're hearing about them, but things that are supposed to be important, things that are important, every aspect of society during the wake up call will be touched on. Book it sure. Every single thing. But you know, we only have about 4 hours every day. And you gotta cut that down because you have to play ads and all them kind of fancy things there. Then you gotta deal with certain things. You know how it is. You know how it is. But everything will be touched on. All right. What I want to talk about at this time. By the way, 25 minutes on to the 9 o'clock hour. For people who are living in such a small country. Before we went to the break, I was talking about the effects of climate change on small islands. Eventually, if everything continues, if the governments do not do what they promise or what they ask to do in terms of reduction of their greenhouse gases to help to slow down the effects of climate change, to help to slow down the global rise in temperatures, with time, bearing in mind also that the people who are being asked to do something, to turn things around, to slow it down or to even stop, what they're trying to achieve in 2050 is a net zero, which means the rate of the intake of these gases and the rate of releasing these gases balances out. So if you produce 10 tons, whatever's in place would take in the 10 tons. So nothing changes. Different sectors are being asked to put their foot down so that in time we do not continue to see the worsening effects of climate change. Governments, businesses, and again, individuals. So what we do as a people would impact that global change, would have some impact, whether small or big, on climate change. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, there was a push to reduce the number of plastic bags that were being used on the market. There is a ban, currently a ban on styrofoam. So we don't use those things anymore. Some businesses have gone ahead and used paper bags. Some businesses have gone ahead and issued reusable bags. Some of them give it away for free. Some of them, we have to buy them because they come at a cost. Plastics and other things that can harm the environment are cheap. Biodegradable things are more expensive. You realize that we just can't afford many of these things. Things that could actually help us. We just cannot afford them. But you know something? You know something that I think is absolutely ridiculous? For Caribbean people or people in a small island like St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we too nasty. We just too nasty. We do not like to take care of our environment. Do you pay attention to the number of beach cleanups that they have? These tourism sites, the waterfalls. Why do we have to have people hired to go and clean up on these natural sites after Vincentians don't go on and use the places? Why? We're too nasty. We're just too nasty. And for people who have been suffering from a lot of floods, when them rivers come down, if you see the muck that has come down, we're too nasty. Why do you think it is right for you to be living either on a riverbank, either close to a riverbank, in the area you just passing and you just decide to throw your garbage in the river, in the gutter. We too nasty. You may not like to hear it because it's the truth. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, man. I'm glad you're touching this topic and it said what I call it in detail, but to say it before I call.
Mm-hmm.
We are nasty. The intentions are nasty. But human beings are being programmed to accept a certain set of things. Meanwhile, we're destroying nature.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, nature is God, you know, because it's nature that's sustaining our life. And we have to look at pollution as an abomination to God, because when we destroy the ozone layer, all the heat comes through.
Mm-hmm.
When we chop down the trees, nothing can produce oxygen. When we destroy the water, we can't drink nothing. When we drop these microplastic in the water, and the fish them ingest it, and we in turn ingest the fish, we get some diseases and we bad and asking God why. We are why. One year I came home and I saw the Leyu River, and it saddened my heart, and I was willing to rent a backhoe and pay for the driver to dig out the river. And I asked some people, yo, I'll come give me a hand to come help with this. I will organize some food and cook some chicken and buy a couple of cakes or whatever all you want to drink. You know, when the person asked me, so who I go pay out? Meanwhile, they ain't working no way, no. I doing this to help out all because remember, I am an American with an American passport.
Where born?
I basically doing, man, me born Leyu, the country
So
of Leyu. You know, I am from the country of Leyu. Leyu is the best place on earth. So the mindset of these people now, I trying to clean up their garbage, and they asking me who go and pay them. Me just pack up my thing and them and me go for me come for me give me the money. The money I was planning to spend on the back, I give the money away to the vendors in Kingston. And until we come and realize the environment is us and the environment is what we are depending on. No kind of money any wall could save us when the environment gets to a point of no return. And I also would like the authorities to enforce the grey water system. We had this grey water system on the books that we run off from our pipe and our laundry. Anything we do in a house, washing dishes, bathing, the only thing that doesn't go anywhere is the toilet water, because it obviously go in a septic system. But if we look at the direct effect of the grey water coming off these houses, all these chemicals that we wash our clothes with, all these cooking oil that we fry our fish with, that we throw down in the drain and whatever, it come to the river, then the river go to the beach.
Okay, and what happens to the coral reefs?
Coral reefs get destroyed. The fish supply get destroyed. I mean, I ain't even mention the people them who out in the deep water trawling, because I see that with my eye already. I know who them be. But I see people trawling our fish. The fish are destroyed. The coral reef are destroyed. We constantly chopping down trees and making coal pits. And I ain't taking no bash at the people them coal pit wise. But hey, here's another idea, Crystal, food bag. The marijuana plant is a good plant that could biodegradable bags that are plastic that could deteriorate in X amount of time. Why we ain't pushing for that?
Because we prefer to use it for oil and for recreation.
We prefer to use it for medicinal.
Yeah.
Calabash. Yeah. Big up Toya and all the ital man of them. It's calabash them and just eat out of me. When I mentioned that one time, I say, why each business place don't push a calabash initiative? Right? Come up with some kind of art and craft where we could break down the calabash into like fiber and then bring them back using a little bit of resin. Now, I don't know if we have a resin that could possibly be used. It's just idea putting out there that could possibly be used for food grade product, right? You grind down the calabash and you put it in some kind of press or something, or use some kind of adhesive. Resin might not be the proper thing, because resin could break down with heat. And make a food container that we end up and recycle. Just remember how we used to recycle juicy bottle. I don't know how we don't do that. How we don't do that now. When a juicy come, if you don't have 16 bottle in a case, you can't get a case of juicy. We should have some kind of... These are all things that we're supposed to be talking about and dialoguing about and seeing how we could do, because guess what? It's our future generation really doing a disadvantage. You know? If you not really can. And everybody wants things now, and nobody don't want to know what the effects of things that we're having now is going to have on the future generation. But I love this topic, Crystal, and the intentions not only wouldn't listen, they would digest, because a lot of us tend to listen to respond. We don't listen to digest and understand what somebody saying. Even if you don't agree with what somebody saying, sometimes we just go to just digest and hear where somebody coming from. Big up yourself and continue to do anything, man.
Yes, man. Big up yourself, man. Have a good day, Max. All right. So quite a number of responses came in there all at once. I didn't even realize that there was a bit of a backlog. Hello, good morning. All right, lost that one. If you want to call us, 4571043. WhatsApp is 4301043. All right, we're also live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at Extreme 104 SVJ. As I was saying, we're too nasty. We just too nasty. How? You just take your garbage, your mess, your junk. You just drop it either at the side of the road. You throw it over a bank. Where do you think that it's going? You got to be environmentally conscious. As small island people, as Vincentians, you have to be environmentally conscious. And it's a shame that we're not. It's a shame that these are the things that we don't pay attention to. But whenever it floods, do you know who gets the blame? Whenever bad things happen, Kingstown flooded out, Annisville flooded out. If you see the gunk, the mess has come down. Some of it is natural, and we will accept what is natural. A tree breaks down naturally, we will accept that. But for the people who throw garbage in the rivers and the gutters and the streams, unacceptable. You're too nasty. There is a garbage bin for that. Do you realize that you pay money every single month to CWSA to have your garbage taken away to the landfill? You pay for that. But you can just drop your thing anyway. You go to the beach. You go to a recreational site. You go to a place that every Vincentian is supposed to enjoy. It is supposed to be clean. As Caribbean people, as Vincentians, we're not supposed to be having people come together to clean up a beach. Not supposed to have people coming together to clean up recreational sites because they are supposed to be clean. What is so hard with picking up your garbage, putting it in a bag, and throwing it in the receptacle that is right next to your foot? These places have garbage bins, but you leave it on the sand. You're too nasty. We also have a tourism product to think about. Yes, we have our environment to think about. This is where we live. In order for us to survive here, we have to protect it. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Crystal. How you do?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
Yes, there's normally a white good collection by Central Water and Sewage Authority twice a year, February and September. And people still dump garbage over gullies and riversides. And
ridiculous.
Why does that happen?
I have no people just too nasty.
Totally free. You don't pay for it. It's a free service twice a year. But some of these people, when they leave in Vincent and they go to places like New York, they don't drop a sweetie wrapper on the ground.
Okay then. All right.
Do anything in St. Vincent.
Okay then.
And then they call back and criticize that we're not happy and we say that. Same mentality they had when they were here.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous, huh?
Anyway,
thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Look at Kingstown. Are you pleased with how Kingstown looks on a day-to-day basis? At the end of every day, at the end of the week, end of Friday or the Saturday, are you pleased with how Kingstown looks? Some people just too nasty. All right. So they asked for more garbage bins. A company came together. A company sat down. All right, let's put some down. After a while, some of them were destroyed. It might have been by people who are not mentally stable. It might have also been by people who are homeless. All right. But right next to that, in the gutter, you can see people throwing garbage there. Nasty. It's not hard to pick up your garbage, to hold it until you get somewhere where there's a garbage bin. They're all over the town. too nasty. Change has to happen with you, you know. It has to happen with you. The things that we do will have an effect on other things. It's a cause and effect. What we do today will have an effect tomorrow and the day after that. What are you leaving for your children and grandchildren? What you leaving for them behind? What you leaving behind for them? Most car companies are making electric cars or hybrid vehicles long time ago. Now, there is an article from Mia Mottley, right? Well, there is an article highlighting that where Mia Mottley, Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados, wants the Caribbean countries to be prepared for climate event, right? This is coming from News 784. It reads as follows. Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, has called on Caribbean countries to prepare for the possibility of a climate change event that could cause mass migration and displacement in the region. Everything in one. Mottley was speaking at a handover ceremony of the regional and national maritime security strategies. All right. 2017 was that year that showed us the possibility of what could happen with the impact on Dominica and Antigua and Barbuda, in particular with those successive hurricanes that hit us. The coastal and inland flooding due to intensified storm surges have also continued to be a problem for too many of our other countries. Trinidad, Guyana, and Suriname may not be hit by hurricanes, but they are hit by floods. Mottley told the hybrid ceremony that the Belize-based Caribbean Community Climate Change Center and the United Nations Development Program reports that 1 meter rise in sea level can displace approximately 110,000 people in CARICOM member states. That is like the whole of St. Vincent and the Grenadines gone. Not the entire country gone. You know, like just disappear. But in terms of population, you could imagine everybody on this island just migrating because they don't have anywhere to live. For the RSS in particular, it was estimated that 2% of the population in St. Kitts and Nevis, and indeed 3% of the population in Antigua and Barbuda, could be displaced as a result of these types of events. This potential displacement leads us to inquire if the current response in our member states can accommodate management of mass migration or displacement of such a large number of persons. Now, I don't know what will happen to the Caribbean economy, the Caribbean countries, if too many people leave at once. But could I assume that it's not going to be a good thing? She further says, well, the article further says, the RSS said that it had been working to ensure that the maritime space within its member states is secure, and that in 2019, in collaboration with the Caribbean Development Bank, or CDB, and the Organization of American States, it embarked on a mission to create strategies that, once implemented, would safeguard the borders and seaports within the region. Prime Minister of Barbados highlighted this. What could possibly happen in the future if things continue the way they are continuing? Governments have a responsibility. Businesses have a responsibility. Corporations have a responsibility. And people, individuals also have a responsibility. Now, the reason that we're here could be because we probably just don't know. Some people will probably never thought of the effects of their actions. But I'm telling you now, when you throw your gunk over the bank into the gutter and the streams, how many times do you have to say this? That could contribute directly to flooding. When you cut down the trees and the rain comes, and the rain will be coming heavier and more frequently, you wash off the topsoil. That is called erosion. Landslides could happen more frequently because the trees are not alive anymore. The root system is not able to hold that together. The root is like the glue that holds the soil together. So you get landslides. And when landslides, sometimes people lose their homes. Come on, man. As Vincentians, as islanders, as Caribbean people, we have to do better. You're too nasty, man. Too nasty. We have diseases that are directly affected by our ability or inability to keep our surroundings clean. Dengue fever. Just yesterday, we talked about that. Last year. And you still have to be telling people to keep the surroundings clean. You still have to be telling people to keep the surroundings clean. Even if you don't want to consider the positive effects, you're acceptable with how that looks. Well, all they don't hear me talk about the market already, how the upstairs market looking real nasty. So maybe it starts from the top, come down. I don't know. But the importance of our environment, the importance of keeping the environment clean should be at the forefront. Is it just like how we love commerce? We're supposed to love to keep the environment clean. You understand? Just so. And some very simple things that we can do. Shout out to all the businesses that are playing their part, making the investment in solar panels, making the investment in businesses that can help to keep the environment clean. The recycling plants across the island, big up yourselves, man. That is the kind of things that you need to see in the Caribbean. Why are we not seeing more of it? I don't know. Maybe it's not right in front of your face. Maybe the funding for some of these businesses is not readily available. Or maybe there's not enough promotion by the people who are putting these initiatives in place. Perhaps not. Let me get to some responses here on the WhatsApp, and then we're going to get to Facebook, all right? All right, then let's get
Morning, Christelle.
Morning.
I am so glad that you're touching on that topic this morning because, it is so important, especially for the small islanders. And if we talk about just St. Vincent alone, I remember in 2008 when I came back after spending 12 years in the United States. I grew up around the Stubbs area, so obviously Stubbs Beach is my beach. And I had all these plans in my head. When I get home, I'm going to just run straight on the beach and jump in the water. And when I get to the beach, I was so surprised because the water was coming up. The beach in Stubbs used to have, it was so wide that two sets of different people can be playing cricket and soccer before you get to the water. You can't even run, do your exercise without the water coming up. So you can't even exercise anymore. Obviously, because of the airport, the beach area has changed drastically. But in 2008, it was still the same. Water where we used to have the fat pork and the grapes and stuff like that, water was rushing up there. That's when I realized that I watch documentary all the time. I'm a person that, I love to learn a lot about animals and whatever. So I watch a lot of documentaries, but I never thought that it would hit in my country until I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing, like you said, is the big countries, America, Japan, China, Russia, they're huge countries, so they're not being affected. And like you said, they were the ones making the money. And I think the leaders in the Caribbean need to come together and start talking about it more. I heard Mayor Motley mention it, but I think the leaders should, because we're the one who's going to suffer most. The lowland areas close to the sea, if it continues like this 10 years from now, 20 years from now, it's going to look a whole lot different. I've seen a lot of small islands in like Indonesia, Samoa, and those places. They're underwater. Mm-hmm. You actually see buildings the way they were living. It's water there, water there. Where they used to plant food, they can't plant any more food because the island is going back.
You see what I'm saying there in terms of food security? Places that you are able to plant right now, they will disappear. Places that are able in larger countries, and there's a part of an article there on BBC where it touches on the effects on larger countries. But let me finish this one here. But you see that? Pay attention to that. Food security. You cannot completely talk about food security unless you talk about climate change.
The water is taking back everything. So I think it's something that we need to pay more focus on. And I would urge people, even if it's one movie per week, instead of watching one movie per week, take that time to watch some documentaries about climate change and, educate yourself and start fighting for our climate because like you said, the people in the Caribbean, the people who are living on small islands like ourselves, we are the one who are suffering the most. We're not getting anything, and our voice is not really being heard on the big market. So I think people need to, the leaders need to start pushing it a lot more. But it is happening, and it is real, and we need to start doing something, whatever we can do, because we're gonna lose a part of our island if we don't, or if the leaders and the people who are supposed to take stock of these things take stock of it, and it is real. I'm so happy that you're talking about it because it's just as important as the air.
Let's get some more responses. Oh, look at the time. Look at the time. But we're going, man. We're going. Let's go. Let's one more.
Good morning, Extreme Family. I like this topic this morning, Crystal. But I'll tell you something. I don't believe they're going to get rid of fossil fuel.
Non-complete.
Because fossil fuel is making them billions. They're making billions from fossil fuel. You think Saudi Arabia going to give up drilling oil? Now look at this. A few years ago, the first man to make an electric car was a black man. They got rid of it. They didn't want it at that time because they want the gas and diesel to sell. But today now, they're running for the same electric car. And look who they put to do it now. A white man. But the first man that make the very first electric vehicle, it was a black man. But now they want to say the white man do it now because now they put a white man to do it, which is Elon Musk. Understand? So they're not going to get rid of fossil fuel for now. Yeah, they're going to bring in electric cars then, yeah, but they will still have their fossil fuel. You know how long they've been talking about this? Look how many years now. Every G20 or whatever you call it,
every summit
meeting, world leaders get together. Every year,
waste some money.
They have a G20 meeting. They're talking about this thing. What they did?
What they're doing?
Nothing still.
Continues to rise, yeah?
We got a lot of years to go before this changes up.
We don't have,
yeah.
We don't have time.
Anyway, that's my take on that. Hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
And keep up the good works, Crystal. Keep up the good vibes because I seen that it's not many other radio stations in St. Vincent drop on topics that you do. So keep the vibes going.
Thanks, man. Big up yourself. You see, we have a responsibility as a media outlet to educate and not encourage nonsense. For too many times, people tend to run with what is popular. But we're willing to risk talking about things that are not popular because they are important. You cannot run with the status quo and then complain about the status quo when you are encouraging the status quo. You understand where I'm coming from? That will never be me. That could never be me. Never. Good morning. Morning. That was a nice topic. Very, very true. Jimmy, leave Max alone, man. To add to what you're saying, okay, ain't the JF Mitchell Airport important? So why not give it back its lights for night operations and also go out of your way to see its success bring more traffic to? Ain't Beckway roads important? So why not repair them? Is tourism in the Grenadines important? So why not do the necessary, all benefiting the country as a whole? So it ain't just about the climate. to add to what you're saying, tourists don't want to go to a dirty or nasty destination. That's another thing that we have to look at. That is another thing that we have to look at. While we are Caribbean people and we're vulnerable and we depend on tourism, but we can't have too many tourists coming. I wonder if we have a cap on the number of cruise ships that can come or the number of tourists that we can see at a certain time. I wonder if we have a cap. There are places in the world that have been visited so much by tourists because they were advertised as untouched and unspoiled. And if you look at the state of the place, they had to lock it down. I can't remember the name of the place right now because so many things to think about. But they had to shut it off from tourism and let it replenish itself. So you have to be very careful. You have to find a balance and not have too many people coming to the island. Because while we get the money and the foreign exchange, we are losing a bit of the environment, bit by bit. You see how everything is coming into play here? Crazy, huh? Let me get to some responses on Facebook. All right, and then we're going to wrap things up, take a break. We are now 5 minutes into the 9 o'clock hour, by the way. Somebody says, big up to Highly Favor. Somebody says, tell them beachgoers to take home their trash, especially the food containers. Good morning to Elliot. Good morning to Anis. Good topic. It does upset me to see big people throwing garbage anywhere. That's the same question I asking. What we leaving for the next generation? Another one. Crystal, if some of them don't want to keep their place, how can they keep their environment clean? Some people are just nasty. As Caribbean people, we're just too nasty. Too nasty. You take your good energy. You mobilize people. You go down to a beach. Let me say we're going Kittell's Beach. Just an example. You go down to the beach to clean up the beach. 2 days later, the beach dirty again. What to do? You gotta take care of your environment for the environment to take care of you. You cannot get to a point where it's no return and it's too late for certain things. We are among the most vulnerable people in this entire world. Most vulnerable countries. We have volcanoes to deal with, earthquakes, hurricanes, rising sea levels, and people nastiness to deal with. The social issues, every country has that to deal with. But we have all those things to deal with because we live on a tectonic belt there, a volcanic belt there. So a bunch of a plate. How you say it again? I forget. My geography teacher gonna be real vexed with me. But we live on a belt. So there are a lot of volcanoes coming down there, underwater and above water. And what happens at whenever plates meet, so they could either go towards each other, one could go under, one could go above, they could slide against each other. So there's destructive, constructive, and I can't remember the other one. Plate tectonics. Thank you. I know we have some listeners that, you're going to help me out sometimes. Plate tectonics. So we live right along that. Yeah? So we're real susceptible. Any little thing. You see what's happened to Haiti? You see what's happened to other Caribbean islands? Look at Dominica. Look at Grenada a couple of years ago. Look at Trinidad whenever a little drop of rain comes. And people still nasty. Can't get it. I can never get it. Good morning to DJ Star Supreme. It's no different anywhere. I've seen some nasty places in the UK. The only difference is there's teams that clean here daily. Shout out to all the sanitation workers who come out. Thank you, TRS. Tectonic plates. Yes, man. Yeah. Thanks to I know you get paid for it, but a lot of people might overlook your importance in our lives. All right? Big up to all these sanitation workers. You gotta wake up like 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and get out on the streets and clean them up. And then you gotta clean up at the end of the day. Big up yourselves, all right? It's a very dirty job, but it's really important and we appreciate you. All right? Some people might overlook you, but we appreciate you here on Extreme FM, all right? Big up yourselves this morning. Folding and faulting was my only geography topic that I liked. Big up to DJ Star Supreme. All right. So we're gonna end the live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Remember to follow, like, share, tweet, whatever it is you do on social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Tweet, tweet.